How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another CHTV Top 5. The 2022 season officially kicked off this week, and what a week it's been across the NFL. I, for one, did not expect to see the Packers trading Davante Adams. This one still hurts, as we're all trying to overcome the shock and scramble to figure out what's next. What we do know is it's going to be hard to replace an all-pro wide receiver, the future Packers Hall of Famer, and potential NFL Hall of Famer. But this week, we're going to try as we look at the top 5 wide receiver options to replace Davante Adams. Number 5, Odell Beckham Jr. It came down between the Packers and the Rams for OBJ's services last year after his release from Cleveland. As we all know, he ultimately ended up in Los Angeles, found his stride again, scored 7 touchdowns in 7 games, and was a key contributor to the Rams' Super Bowl run. Now, a few months later, Beckham is a free agent, and you have to ask, would the Packers be interested? I believe the answer is yes, which is why he's on the list, but do recognize his injury could complicate things as the Packers need someone now and might not be able to wait until he recovers from his torn ACL. Number 4, Julio Jones. Now, I know Julio is not the same player he once was when he helped lead the Atlanta Falcons to the Super Bowl. However, Matt LaFleur did get an up-close look at that Julio Jones during his time on the Falcons coaching staff. So if LaFleur thinks they can rekindle some of that magic and turn it into a late career resurgence, the medicals check out after 2 years of not being able to play a third of the season, Julio could find himself in Green Bay to chase a ring with the Packers. Number 3, Jarvis Landry. Landry was cut by the Browns following Cleveland acquiring Amari Cooper. Our own Aaron Nagler reported the Packers called right away once he was released, so the Packers have already shown some level of interest. Landry is a 5-time Pro Bowl receiver who has been consistent and reliable during his career. He's only missed 5 games due to injury, and he even has experience returning punts. My only concern is, how well does he fit in the offense with Randall Cobb returning? But if he does sign, I trust LaFleur to figure it out. Number 2, Robert Woods. I had to include a trade option on this list. The Packers did acquire a first and a second-round pick from the Raiders for Adams, so they could turn around and use some of that draft capital for a new receiver. Robert Woods is coming off of an ACL injury, but according to reports, is expected to be ready to go for training camp. Woods put back-to-back 90 reception seasons in 2019 and 2020. The Packers' offense would be similar to what he's used to in LA. He is also known as one of the best run-blocking wide receivers in the game, and we know how much LaFleur loves a receiver willing to block. If the Packers could pull off a trade, Robert Woods would make a ton of sense. Number 1, Will Fuller. It was just during the 2020 season when the Packers were close to acquiring Fuller from the Houston Texans at the trade deadline. The former first-round pick has dealt with injuries throughout his whole career, but when healthy, he is a playmaker who can take the top off any defense. In 2020, Fuller had 879 yards and 8 touchdowns in just 11 games, as he was suspended for the remaining 5. He has a connection with Matt LaFleur that dates back to their time at Notre Dame. The medicals are a big question, but at just 27 years old, he is still worth the shot. That will wrap up our top 5 wide receiver options to replace Davante Adams. One name you might be thinking is missing from this list is MVS. While I'm still hopeful he can return to the green and gold, especially with the reported interest, I think the role he plays is different from what they would ask someone coming in to quote-unquote replace Davante. That's why he didn't make the list, but I still think it would be a good move to bring him back too. Also, the Packers should probably draft a guy or two, but we'll save that for another video. Thanks again for watching this week's Top 5. Please give the video a like, drop a comment on who you want the Packers to go after, and as always, go Pack Go, and I'll see you next week.